Puffball mushrooms actually start popping up pretty soon.
Oh, really? When's the season for them?
It is now 7 o'clock. And I will go ahead and start recording. Wait, stop recording. How could it be stop recording? I haven't started recording. No audio, no video. No audio or video from me. I can see you, but cannot hear you yet. Sorry. All right, Stan, did you check the microphone setting on the lower left and see that your microphone is turned on? And then also to the next square over should say video. And you should be able to turn that on. Oh, I see. So
it's a possibility that he's got to go into the up caret on the video. He may have multiple camera capability, and he may have to select one over the other because the one's not working right.
Recording in progress.
all right, I started recording, and I'd like to say welcome everybody to the September edition of the Westside Computers Club. As typical, our format will be open forum, and then we will go into our presentation tonight by the illustrious Mr. Tony, who's going to be discussing and showing us the Arlo security system. And somebody wants to comment. So, with that being said, who would like to open up the floor with the first question of the evening?
I'll start it.
Go ahead, Al.
The new routers that are on the market now, the tri-band, specifically the Wi-Fi 6s.
Yes.
What should we know about them?
Someone want to elaborate on that? The Wi-Fi 6?
The 6 and 6E offhand are great if you have devices that use the 6 gigahertz bandwidth. Otherwise, they're useless on that one feature. But they'll still do the same thing as the AC routers, which are 5 AC.
Now, don't they, the new routers are also offering some other features, and that is if you have the latest in Internet of Things devices, IoTs, that are low power, the new routers are designed so that they can interact with those more efficiently and not have them run in the low power mode, that is. At least that's my understanding of that. So if you bought a new refrigerator that's got the latest gizmo, like the latest Samsungs or like Samsung refrigerator that lets you see what's inside your refrigerator, that's an IoT thing that could probably take advantage of that. Anyone else know of devices that use that?
Well, a lot of IoT devices, I think for economy per se, use the 2.4 gigahertz frequency instead of the 5 or the new 6.
Okay. That's usually because the bandwidth goes a lot further than the 5 and 6. The 5 and 6 falls off a lot quicker. The higher the frequency is, the more compressed the waves are, but the less likely they are to be able to get through obstructions in your house. So like you said, Tim, most of the things do run on the 2.4. I don't know much more about the IPv6. Is that we're working with on the 6 gigahertz?
Well, it's Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E as in Edward.
Okay.
And Wi-Fi 7 doesn't sound like it's going to be too far off into the future.
What's the difference between a 6 and 6E?
I don't remember all the details because I wasn't interested at the time, but 6E, I think it's, again, besides in the 6 gigahertz area, it may get it into mesh networking more.
Yes. I will add that regardless of which technology you decide to adopt, it's not a bad thing to be at least equal or Stan? What are you doing, Stan? Oh, we're seeing Stan's screen. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, but he's
I'm
not.
sorry. Stan is sharing his desktop with us. Now we see his night sky. Sorry, sidetrack here. I would suggest that if your router is more than, let's say, and this is just an arbitrary amount, 5 years old, you should consider upgrading it to a newer model. Doesn't have to be the latest and greatest, but at least a newer one that's a couple, 1 or 2 years old, so that you can take advantage of the enhancements that come along with it. Specifically, if you have a really old router, greater than 5, maybe 10 years old or something, you've never upgraded it, absolutely you should upgrade it because you're missing out on the security features that are in the new routers. And plus, they're being updated more constantly than your old ones.
Well, usually most of the manufacturers only support firmware updates for, especially for security, for 5 years. That's it from the date of manufacturing.
Right.
So, bottom line, anytime you're on a router that's more than 5 years old, you're running a security risk of a break-in, a breach, because the hackers are constantly pecking away at all security of every kind, and then they share that information with all the other hackers and would-be hackers. And right now, a lot of kids have formed groups for hacking. So
Right.
besides the professionals, you got to worry about the kids in your neighborhood even.
Now, in terms of security and encryption, WPA3 has come out, and that exceeds the capabilities of WPA2.
Right.
And your older routers won't even have WPA2.
That's for sure.
And they may still have WPS in its original form, which is Wi-Fi protected setup, and that was a security risk, and it may still be.
One thing I remember from way back when WPA2 started coming out was I think Windows had an add-in. Even if you had a router that didn't support WPA2, it would work.
No, it did not give you true WPA2, however, it gave you better encryption.
Okay. Well, I knew it improved something. Otherwise, it would have been a waste of time for me to put something out.
So
Well, with Microsoft, that would not necessarily be an obstacle, but
let's say that you're like a Comcast user or a WoW user, and you rent your cable modem router from the manufacturer. Should you request an update?
I
well,
don't know.
here's
Usually, those companies that do automatic updates of the firmware, not necessarily in a timely fashion, but as far as getting a new, more modern modem router that you're renting that is under under 5 years old. Good luck. They switch stuff out primarily when you have enough of a problem that they'll take it out and give you a newer version.
okay. One exception. Comcast Xfinity wants to get rid of DVRs, and because of this, they want to put you over to streaming from their streaming service.
Sure.
And because of this, they do want to switch out your old gateway for the X5. and they say, oh, you can do these pods, you can have what essentially is a mesh network in your house. You can cover your house, even if it's huge, with just one of our X-Fis, and you can do home security with it. You can do IoT with it, but you lose your DVR, you lose everything on your DVR, and you will have to stream, and stuff comes and goes from streaming.
That's like,
So if you're not using the DVR service, then I guess it would be okay to do that. But if you are using it, you might want to stick with that old system. But let's go back to, if you're renting one, you're basically paying a monthly fee. Why not go ahead and request an updated unit? I don't see a reason why you shouldn't do that.
well,
They want you to. They want you to.
well, the one, yes, but most of them won't do it because they get saturated with too many requests and they haven't got enough of the devices to spread around.
Okay.
Yeah, Verizon Fios has a problem like that.
Yeah, there's
But-
others besides them.
However,
Yeah.
it's not our role as a consumer to worry about whether or not they have enough equipment to meet their needs.
Yeah.
So
Well-
if you feel you needed an updated system, feel free to pick up the phone and say, I want an updated system. I'm paying for a monthly fee. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Now, Al, you brought up a point about getting a newer router and why would somebody want to do that? I happened to have picked up a newer Asus router at a garage sale this last week, and it's a newer version of the one that I currently have. It's a faster, more speedy unit. I tested it and installed it. I just put it in probably about an hour ago. Came home and I took down my network, plugged this one in. I already had it configured before I left and have it up and running. And I found that the packets and information seem to be much more snappier than they used to be. So just by upgrading the router itself, you may find some performance increases just locally inside your home network. That's a reason.
I rent Comcast modem, and my new one showed up today.
There you go.
So I know nothing about it except that I just took it out of the packaging tonight.
Well, on the subject of DVR, some of the services, the DVR is not in a local piece of equipment, but in their facilities. So you're
Yeah.
recording on their stuff, and therefore you may still be able to have the DVR service. But there are machines that they put out for television purposes that do have the mechanical DVR by having a hard drive in them. That's what you lose.
Well, you'd have that set up differently anyway. It'd be something like an HD home run that people
Yeah.
would have. And those still work until ATSC3 becomes commonplace. But
Right.
the announcement from NBC is they're cutting prime time, so the networks are disappearing. Broadcast is disappearing. Nothing's being broadcast live anymore.
Oh, yes, it is.
We are.
Yeah, like the president will be broadcast live tonight.
You sure?
Very few
You
things
sure?
other than
Okay.
news. Very
And
few
news,
things.
But it depends on what your needs are. Let's not downplay it because there was just a statistic that came out that I heard last week on a podcast that 23% of the U.S. citizens still use an antenna for their TV.
So do I.
So there's still a large market of those people that are not using cable, that are not necessarily, it could be streaming, but they're getting their television service from broadcast.
Right.
I wouldn't discount it because I will keep with it. I'm a antenna user, and I will stick with it until I can no longer use it. But I love it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the networks are making the decision for us. They are not going to do ATSC3. They're going to go over to their streaming services, which they consider to be profitable, and not do broadcast any longer because it's been a money loser all along.
I don't know where you're getting that information from, Bob, but let's not go down that
NBC
path.
made an announcement.
Okay, let's not, that, they made, again, I don't know if that's nationwide or a certain
It
market.
is nationwide. It is NBC from their headquarters in New York.
Okay, all right, we're going down a path we don't need to go to, Bob. Okay? All right, let's move on to, Al, did we answer your question?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, new question, new direction. Yes,
There.
Mr. Terry.
On my home computer,
On your-
laptop, I cannot connect to the internet on my Wi-Fi. I brought the laptop into the office here, and they could connect it into the office Wi-Fi. So
Wait, so
my stepson is coming in at the end of the month, and he's real good with computer stuff. So see if he can fix it.
All right.
I don't know what I could just. And I called AT&T and tried to work with them. Just connect. Using the Wi-Fi through the internet.
did you make sure, let me get a clear understanding here. This laptop connects to the internet at your office, but it will not.
Well, it did at the office, but Thomas at the home, I cannot connect to the internet at home with the laptop.
So we know that the Wi-Fi works in your office,
Yes.
but when you take it home, it won't connect to the home network.
No.
Does it show up? Does the Wi-Fi? I don't know what I'm going to say. In the lower right-hand corner, you should have a little Wi-Fi signal that appears in the taskbar on that laptop. When you click on that, does it show the name of your network?
Yes, we did, and I did it with one of the AT&T representatives, and didn't work.
What didn't?
We could not connect to the internet.
But it shows.
They tried AT&T on their end, and they couldn't get it to work either.
Okay, but it does when you click on the Wi-Fi signal on the lower right-hand corner, your network, your SSID, does show up.
Yeah.
The name shows up, and when you click on that, it should ask you for a password. Does it not?
Yes.
It does, and you put in the password.
Yes.
And you put it in correctly.
In fact, they assigned me a password, and we used that one. I think they gave me a new Wi-Fi connect, and they gave me a new password, and it still wouldn't connect.
Yeah, some of them they'll go through their back door into your modem router for diagnostics, and they can change all kinds of settings. So they just changed his password in case that was the problem. Gave it the information to him. He typed it in, and it's still not connecting.
Right. Well, like I said, my stepson is coming in. Now, let me. Would an alternative be to get a Chromebook? I know most of the grade schools, they use Chromebook to connect to the internet. And they're about $300 or better. Would I be better off to, and in the meantime, to just go get a Chromebook and install it?
No, not necessarily. What we want to know is, what do you do on that laptop? I think that's more deciding information. What programs do you run on it that you need to connect to the internet with that laptop?
Like here right now, Zoom or whatever, Team or whatever.
Zoom is one of them. What else?
Oh, I don't do Word or Excel. Basically, I just use it for the internet at the house. I do everything else here at the office.
You could use a Chromebook, but something tells me instinctively that your Wi-Fi issue will not work with the Chromebook either.
Oh.
And I use Chromebooks. Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi.
Yes, does anything in your house connect up to that Wi-Fi network?
Yeah, my wife's computer, probably the television, and then because we got AT&T Uverse.
Okay, so his router cable modem is working correctly, obviously.
And he's got plenty of bandwidth if he's got Uverse.
Right. Are you trying to connect on the 2.4 or the 5 gigahertz band?
Uh, you got me there.
Well, the 2.4 would be slow, but it would work. But the 5 is faster, and it should work as well, unless one of the radios went out.
Well, that could be. Maybe a radio went out on that laptop.
I'm unsure what part of that.
Okay.
Then it wouldn't work at the office.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Let me ask something, Terry. Do you have an Ethernet Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable, and can your laptop connect by Ethernet?
I can you speak up a little bit? Yeah.
Can everyone else hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Barely.
Terry, can you turn up your volume so you can hear me more?
Terry, see this? This is Terry. Look at this at your screen. You see this? This is a short Ethernet cable, and this is what Bob is asking you. Do you have a cable like this that you can plug into the laptop and plug into your modem router in the back?
Did you try doing that? Did you try connecting the laptop directly to your router, cable modem, whatever the device is, to the laptop? Did you try connecting the two with a cable?
All right, we'll try it. I'm not,
Well, Terry,
I'm not Mr. Goodrich, that's for sure.
Okay, but we're talking a cable here. We're not talking rocket science, just a cable that you can go and buy at Micro Center, or you could probably buy it at Walgreens even.
Or Walmart.
Or Walmart. You just need an RJ45 internet or network cable, and you would connect it. If your laptop has a port on it for it, you'd connect it directly to the router. You're up and running.
How old is the laptop?
Oh, probably 6 years.
6 years? And what's the screen size? 13?
Well, I've got it attached to a bigger monitor. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the reason I'm asking for the screen size of the laptop has to do with a lot of the features, because they've been taken out VGA and Ethernet ports on more modern computers. And
I would say
you'd probably need a 15.6. You might get it on a 14, but 13.3 down, you may not have an Ethernet port.
Do you have the model number of that laptop, the brand and model number?
It's HP. It's an
HP. Okay, and what's the model number?
It's at the house. I don't have it. Yeah.
Can you, when we're done talking here, call your wife and ask her to look on the bottom of it and see if she can get the model number?
Well, or else I'll talk to you, like tips or tricks or whatever.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked that is we could look it up online now and be able to discern whether or not it has a cable, a networking jack on there. So what Tim has suggested is you basically hardwire the laptop to your router, and you could use it that way. If you can't get the Wi-Fi to work, that's a solution, and you don't have to go buy another computer.
Well, even if in most instances you either have a configuration problem inside that's software, or the Wi-Fi card can be easily replaced. You can also get USB devices that plug into a USB port that'll give you an alternative Wi-Fi capability. It's designed that way so that if the internal one goes bad and you don't want to replace it, you put in the USB device and you got Wi-Fi again.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, did we mention USB to Ethernet?
No,
I was welcoming Stan.
I have that those devices too, but most people don't have them because they don't even know about them.
But it can be gotten at the Micro Center.
Sure.
All you got to do is ask.
What was the one I was talking about last month that was at Micro Center, that very inexpensive unit that was like $70?
Oh, yeah, I know what one you're talking about. It's a little tiny 11.6 inch laptop that's supposed to run Windows, God knows how slow, and you can get it for about $70. I don't remember the exact name, but I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Yeah, if I look through, I can find out the name if you guys give me a few moments. When I check down my,
Bob, what was that I should get from Micro Center?
Now, what was you asking, Terry?
Oh, Bob, what should you get from Micro Center? What
Oh,
would you say I
you
should
get you can also, besides a USB Wi-Fi, they call it a dongle. You can get a USB to Ethernet adapter. It plugs into a USB port, and on the other side is a connector that you can plug a USB cable into, and then plug that into the back of the router modem.
That's an Ethernet cable, Tim. But yes,
Right, that's correct.
the name of that.
There's lots of alternatives. It's just a case where you have to have the right parts or be able to easily get a hold of them.
Why I bring Ethernet up, the question might be, because UVerse in particular, your default setup is to connect first by wired connection. Then, when you're set up with that computer and all your account stuff is on there,
Here it is.
then you can start messing with Wi-Fi. And not until then. That's the way it used to be. That's the way it used to be with AT&T.
Here's a little rat. This is USB, and the bottom section is for an RJ45 Ethernet cable.
There you go, and you could plug that directly into your router. It'll run the cable between the two, and your laptop will immediately know about it.
Yeah.
Here's another alternative for you. This one is available sometimes at Micro Center. It's $60. Don't expect a lot from it, but if you're only surfing the internet, it will work. That's all I'll tell you is it'll work. It's not the latest and greatest. It's not the fastest, but it's okay. It's not bad.
Which Windows does it run?
It's running.
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
I think, yeah, it's 10. It's running Windows 10. Student. I think it's Pro.
Student is a limited edition, remember.
Yes,
Hey,
but you can freely upgrade it to the
This
normal.
is $60.
But you can upgrade. You can upgrade for free to Tim.
All right, to Windows 10. It's a free upgrade. You just go to the Microsoft Store, I think it is, and there's an option in there, and it will take the student off and have regular Windows 10. But it's going to give you a scary little message that if you proceed to do this, sorry, you cannot revert back to the student version.
Okay, let's not go down this road on that. I'm just pointing out this is a alternative to Chromebook, and it's cheap. And if you're only surfing the internet and you're not doing any work on it, meaning Excel or any
Yeah, I
business,
don't think so. Word.
if you're only doing internet stuff, this will be okay. And I put an emphasis on the word okay.
Oh, great.
Okay, means
Oh,
it's just
great.
an
Thank you.
okay unit. It's like your rock bottom unit, but it'll work. $60 when they have them in stock, and I would get it and try it out. Micro Center gives you what, 15 days to return it? So this is an option for you. It's certainly cheaper than a Chromebook that's $300.
If
I'm
it,
just going to throw this out, even though it's not something I'm suggesting. This little baby would run well on Linux.
oh yeah, and a lot of people are actually doing that. But if that little unit has the old VGA port, you can use an external monitor like you would have on a desktop that has a VGA cable.
Right.
Yeah.
Take a look at the specs, see if that will do for you. And that may be an inexpensive solution to your problem. But I would first go and see if your son can solve the problem with the Wi-Fi. If not, you go get a network cable. He can hook that up.
Yeah.
That may be the other alternative. The last thing you want to do is go and purchase a new unit, which you can do. You can go with a Chromebook route, or you can go with this one and basically do the same type of thing.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
In other words, there are many, many options.
Right. There are
one that works. Yeah.
Well, this is what computers are. Umpteen options, not one option.
And Stan, good to see you.
On the county conference, and they were saying new cars now have 50 computer chips in there. New cars have 50 computer chips in them. Amazing.
Hey,
That's all?
if
I
they're
thought
going
they
to
had
have
more.
more, I mean, they're rolling computers. Instead of putting it in your pocket or carrying it under your arm or a backpack or leaving it at home because it's the desktop unit, you just get in, turn on the ignition, and drive away.
You don't turn on. You push a button.
I was
Well,
just
that's
amazed by
turning it on,
the
just like a
number,
computer.
the number, you know.
It has
Actually,
thumbprint recognition.
Look at
actually, what you do if it's a Tesla is you fire up your phone, open up an app, and start the car.
Or any type of electric vehicle. It's not just a Tesla.
Yeah.
They're all working off of a mobile app of some form, and they're just push a button and they go,
And the car is running Linux.
or whatever it's doing.
It
so
is.
there is so much of our technology that runs Linux and you don't even know it.
Really? Wow. Wow.
If you got an
Okay.
Android phone, you're on Linux. If
Okay,
you're on a
enough.
Chromebook,
That's another meeting. That's another meeting.
We need to move forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question, new direction.
Is it about time for me to make a brief mention of a hardware thing that I reminded myself of the hard way?
We're still doing questions and answers. How's this?
Okay, well,
Okay. Does
We'll
anyone
get to
else
that
have any
last.
more questions? Terry, that was your only one?
Well, I would think is Linux kind of like assembler in the old days, or because it's a more basic computer language, or no? I mean, like Windows, is it Linux the next rung down or whatever? I mean, more command type stuff or whatever.
I'm not going to get into Linux and Windows, but the thing is, today's Windows does have a command line, but
yeah,
it's running Windows.
all
it's running
the
Windows.
OSs have command lines because that's where a lot of the horsepower is.
And that's what's underlying it, behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
You see a lot of lines of code that are going on, and it's basically text that's driving it. It's not graphical. The
Right.
graphical part is what you see. It's behind the screens. If you move the screen aside, that's what you're seeing as command line text being done.
A lot of software on Windows comes from Linux. All they did was create what's called a graphical user interface wrapper to please the people who are on Windows who don't want to mess with the command line.
Right.
Well, technically, Windows has a different history, but we'll go through that some
That's
other
another
time.
story. Okay, any more questions? Okay, Bob, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to share my screen because there is something I want to show you that's a physical thing. And so I will share my entire screen and get all this garbage off of it. You've already seen all my system controls, but what I want to do is, I think, actually I want to share me, so maybe I don't want to share the screen. You'll have to focus on me because I'm going to switch cameras.
Yes, let me get my glasses.
There we go. I have switched cameras. I am going to,
Ooh.
let's see, I'm going to pin myself so I can see what I'm doing. This, if you can see it, is an external enclosure.
How do you make
And this
screen?
This is an external enclosure, and it sits by my little NUC PC. The NUC itself can run pretty hot, but the enclosure, I accidentally got it into a sunbeam. And I think you guys know where I'm headed on this. It started getting hot, and all kinds of weird stuff happened to it. And well, long story short, by the time I realized it was a heat issue, I ended up having to do some things with my Linux partitions where I had been using them. The SSD inside had been shutting down, and things didn't get properly written to what are known as inodes or data areas on the drive. So the file system was corrupted, but it wasn't corrupted beyond repair. So I had to use a different operating system, a Linux tool, in order to basically run a check disk, which check disk would repair. It's called file system check in Linux, but it's basically a check disk /R. And so when I did that, things were back to normal. But I did have to let the enclosure cool down, otherwise it did the same thing to itself all over again, which was very annoying when I was doing my email. Take-home lesson: don't let components get into sunbeams.
Well, every manufacturer's devices has a maximum heat rating. Anytime something happens that you exceed that maximum, you can shorten the life of the electronics besides things going a little wacky until it cools down. And it only cools down if you turn them off and leave them alone for a while.
Yeah, the Samsung SSDs, the Evo series, have a built-in routine that says if you exceed a certain temperature in the smart data, we're going to shut down because we know damage will occur. And the StarTech enclosure has that in its controller. It senses the temperature via smart data, and if that exceeds a certain amount, Celsius or Fahrenheit, bam, it shuts down. And if that happens in the middle of trying to download an email, well, you lose it.
So,
But
Bob,
anyway, yeah.
if I understand you correctly, you're saying don't use sunbeams, right?
don't let computer components get hit by sunlight.
Oh, sorry, because I was going to ask if moonshine will do the same thing.
Moonshine would be very bad to put into your computer.
Oh, I don't know. It'll make it a hot time.
Yeah, you might even end up flaming somebody accidentally. But what I'm talking about is the physical heat you can get even through a window, even through a tinted window, into a computer component, especially if it's got black plastic underneath. This is well ventilated. Doesn't matter. It will heat up.
Wow.
So you have to make sure you compute in the shade. If you have laptops or portables or Chromebooks or even phones, don't expose them to direct sunlight. Especially not the screens because they can burn.
Thank you.
Okay, that was really good. Anyone else want to add anything about that? About thermal issues? No. All right. I am trying to find a couple of things that I can see. I don't know if people are aware of several or a couple of class action lawsuits that are out, where those of us that reside in Illinois and use any of these services may be able to collect some money from it. One is there's a settlement for Apple and their iCloud, and I will put a link to this one in the chat so you can open it up and see if that made. You got to bear with me. I'm doing like two things at once here. So let's see, Control V and send that one. That is one of them. And there was another one with Google, if I can find this one. That was an iCloud settlement. Then that went into the article about it. Here's another one against Google.
I think there was also one for Instagram or something like that too, exposing or collecting personal data.
Right. There's another one against Google. And then I think there's another one with Snapchat.
Okay, it might have been that one.
Snapchat is the other one. I've got to find this one. Here it is.
I think I read on Snapchat that by the time they take out lawyers' fees and everything, you won't even be able to go to McDonald's and get something to eat.
That doesn't matter. If you get $2.50 from it, you got $2.50 from it. You know, it's up to you. Read up on these. I'm not necessarily endorsing this. I'm just apprising or educating our group that there's 3 class action lawsuits that have been that are out right now against these 3 companies.
Right.
And if you reside in Illinois, you may be and utilize any of these products or been involved, have the possibility been affected by it, you may want to get a claim for it. I do know there was one for Facebook that was people were receiving settlement money from that one already. My daughter had gotten $100 from that one earlier this year. But I know that one's concluded, and they probably given out all the money for that. Does anyone have any more information on these class action lawsuits?
No, man.
Okay, all right. So read up. I just gave you the links to them. You can do your own research on this. I do know that I was using Snapchat back in 2015, which is when this was affected. And so I took part of it. Google, I absolutely took part of that one. And what was the other one? Oh, Apple. Apple one, I don't know. I wasn't using iCloud service at the time, but my kids were. So even if you're not utilizing these services, you may have somebody in your family that might have been and may want to take advantage of these class action lawsuits. Okay.
Is that Apple one is the one that says Snap in Illinois?
You're saying Apple is
The last one you sent. One has
the last one was Snapchat.
Snapchat. Is that one that says HTTPS Snap Illinois?
Yes.
By settlement me? Okay, that's
Right.
it. Good. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of them have to do with the biometrics that were being collected in Illinois. We have a very strict biometric laws here in this state. So, okay. Let's see. I'm kind of lost on a different thought here. Anyone else want to elaborate on any of these subjects here? Bert or Tim, would you like to discuss about regional directors?
Well, this month of September is when we're supposed to elect regional directors. And so far, the best of my knowledge, nobody has volunteered to run for regional director.
Which regions do we need directors for?
Minimum of 2, 3, and 5. We have a few people still in region 1 and 4, but no active groups.
And Tim, what does a regional director do?
Primarily interfaces between the members themselves and group leaders and the board.
Okay.
And
And
it's supposed to be two-way communications.
and what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, the director should be attending as many of the meetings as possible, listening to issues the members bring up, bring that forward to the board, and what activities the group is doing, such as the type of meeting they had, what it was about, etc., in case other groups want to try and have the same kind of a meeting. And at the same time, any decisions that happen at the board that affect the membership, they have to pass it down to the membership of their region.
Okay, so like Region 3 would be
You.
Westside, and is Tips and Tricks in Region 3?
Originally, it was in 5, like the Schaumburg Group or Northwest Computer Club. But right now, with going to Zoom, it could be classified either way.
Okay, so the person would just want to, and if they're responsible for being the liaison for Region 3, they would need to attend Westside and Tips and Tricks,
Probably.
and then once a month, attend a board meeting, tell the board this is in X number of words or less, maybe a sentence or two for each one of them. This is what happened at the meeting, how many people attended, and present that to the board. And the board can say, okay, next time there's something we would want you to tell tell the moderator or some kind of news, right?
Well, you'd want to know what the meeting was about. You might want to know who the presenter was, because other groups are looking for presentations, and therefore, if it sounds interesting, they might want to contact that presenter and ask them to also present in their meeting region.
So we had lost our regional director, the late Jerry Sass, and nobody is currently in that position as a elected person. So we are definitely looking for somebody to be the the director for Region 3. Pretty easy work here for a whopping $0 in pay. As all of us that do this, we all get paid very little. But those directors can influence what happens with the society in the fact that they are voting members of the board, correct?
That's correct.
And if somebody doesn't like the way the board is going in a direction, they can vote against something the board is wanting to do. Or if they want the board to go in a direction, they can make a proposal. They can say to the board that they would like to have us vote on something. Correct?
That's also correct.
Bert, is there anything you want to add to this?
The only person that doesn't vote at the board is the president, unless there's a tied vote. Then the president exercises a tiebreaker, kind of like in Congress in the Senate. You have the vice president chairing it, and the vice president can do the tie-breaking vote.
Bert?
Well, you know, each community, CCS is a community, you know, over time has people who step up to be leaders. Many of our members have already been leaders from time to time. And having the ability to lead and change direction or keep things going is the job of those people who step up to be leaders. So this election is about people stepping up to be leaders. And those people who, you know, enjoy the kinds of programming that we do or have other ideas to do programming, this is the time to step up to participate.
So what
I'm
is
sure many of our members have been leaders in other organizations at other times, and you have the skills to be able to be leaders. For those who are uncomfortable being able to find programming or topics to be able to do, the board can, of course, help that by suggesting other topics or getting others to step up and participate for things that our members want to hear. So leadership is what we're looking for.
How does somebody get on the ballot to be a regional director?
They just have to email Beata Kernan at 1ccsadmin@comcast.net and say, I want to run for Region X director.
And that could be any one of the regions. How many regions we have now? 3,
Well,
5?
We got 3 active and out of 5.
Okay.
And it's just a case where right now, so far, nobody's wanting to step forward for that or other positions that are needed. And that harms the entire organization. And in the end, it could also mean the end of the organization, because you can't have all Indians and no chiefs.
We do need a couple of chiefs. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for that announcement. Shall we go into our presentation tonight? Oh, when's the election? When's the election for that?
The 22nd of November.
Is that when it is, Tony?
The election is this month. It has to be finalized by the end of the month.
Okay. We're not talking national election, Tony.
I hear chiefs and presidents.
And I've never, in national elections, voted on November 22nd.
But that's a personal thing. Let's not go down this road. All right. Shall we go into our presentation tonight by Mr. Tony Edwards?
All right.
Tony?
How do I connect my stuff to share screen?
You go down on the bottom, it says share screen, probably in green in the middle. You click on that, have your screen that you want open.
Wait a minute. No, it's on top. I have my stuff is on top now. It says stop video, mute.
No, not there. Over to the right. Are you doing this on a
Almost
PC?
in the center. It's only the only green icon at the bottom of the Zoom screen.
Okay, share screen. Okay, this is this one here.
Yep, that one there. And then it'll pull up a box and it'll identify which windows you have open, and that's the one you're going to.
Everything on your screen, including that Zoom start broadcast. Mic is on.
Yay!
It's coming up.
Yeah, we got something.
Like it's thinking.
Everything on your screen, including notifications.
Are you doing this on a tablet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it now?
Well, we see you are sharing a screen, but we don't know what you want to share.
What I want to share. Okay, I will go this way. See, I have to go back to this screen here.
Ah, look at that beautiful grandchildren.
That's my granddaughter. She takes me for a walk every day.
That's nice. That's lovely.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to this one. Okay.
Ah,
Can you see this stuff here?
why am I on your picture?
Because he's that's where it shrank the attendees.
Okay,
And whoever's speaking is the one that's in that little picture.
got it. Tony, I thought we wanted us to see.
Well, I'm gonna go back here then. Stop video, video zoom, share screen. This is what I wanted to share. Why did you come up?
Don't worry about
Are you
me.
seeing the screen?
It has to do with the tablet.
Are you seeing the screen in the background there?
Yes.
Here, I'll take me out of the picture.
I can hide you like that. That's what
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Okay, tonight we're gonna talk about the Arlo camera system. And I'll just give you a pre introduction to what I was thinking about. I wanted to have cameras, a couple of them at least, around my house for the front and for the rear end, just for my security sake and to have another toy. And I had to do research on what cameras were available, the overall cost, but more importantly, my main concern was I don't have any cameras that would require the Google interface, because I didn't want Google or any of those other things surreptitiously get into my business. So I eventually ended up with Arlo. And Arlo, from what I've read, it can be used in any situation, whether you're doing Apple or PCs or Android. It can be used with any one of them. And these are some of the criteria that I selected in order to decide what I wanted to get. It must be at wireless. And because I have some of them, one of the cameras, the battery is not connected to any live electricity. The battery life should be as long as possible. And in this case, the battery can last for up to a year on one of these cameras, and they're all outdoor cameras. The ability to have a 2K video and at least a 160-degree viewing angle on the cameras so you can see. And later on, we'll see what it does. See a wide angle of what the cameras are seeing. Oops, sorry. Okay.
Fox News.
Okay. Sorry about that. Color night vision, for one thing, and be able to detect motion and alerts. The motion could be very funny because sometimes you get animals, sometimes you get people. And the last couple of days with the wind and everything, as I was getting wind, because the wind was blowing the trees and everything, and it will trigger off the camera action. The ability to store my videos on local, I have a hub, a smart hub. I can use well, in this case, it's not a US drive, it's a USB flash drive can be used to store my information. Or it can be stored in the cloud and you pay them a nominal fee of say $4 a month, and I didn't want to do that anyway. I bought a system that contains 3 cameras with batteries and the housing and the mounts and everything that go along with it. Next, these are the cameras that I chose. These are 3 cameras. And in the background here, this here is of the hub, which connects the cameras to the system. This is what the cameras look like. The good thing with these cameras, they have a spotlight in them at nighttime. So I could turn on the spotlight, but they can also be activated automatically with motion. So for example, if I come up my driveway, as you will see later on, the spotlight goes on and lights up the pathway. These are the cameras, and this is the hub there. And you have the 3 screws to put them inside the base there. This is one of the cameras. at a closer point, but you can look at. On top here, you have the light. That's the light that spots lights the camera to light up the area in which you're looking. It's another look at the camera. And Arlo is very neat. It's compact, waterproof, and moonproof, and everything else that goes along with it. That's another one of the cameras there. Of course, I can use it from my cell phone. And of course, I'm in the Apple Orchard, Apple phone. I'm on my iPad now, and I can also look at it on my MacBook. Now I'll go back here and get us to the Arlo app. This is the Arlo app, and this is the interface where you can manage and conduct your affairs. This gives you your profile, login settings, and as you can see, and this gives you the 3 ones that I have set up. I have these 3 different cameras that I use. Smart notifications. There's a camera in the garage. There's a camera in the porch, and there's a doorbell, that DBGSPD, that's the doorbell camera. And they all work smartly, and they're very good video you can get with them. Now, if I go here to the cameras, these are to tell you my devices. These are what the cameras look like from my perspective. The first one on the left there says garage camera. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. That's when the garage one that's in front of it looks to the street and down to the driveway. And the second one, there's the porch camera, which is in the back of my house. And that shows you the action that's going on back there. And then the other one to the right is the doorbell camera, where you can see doorbell action. And it has a pretty nice size. You can look at the other aspects of it. You can see actually motion coming up from the street. And sometimes it takes up extraneous stuff, but it's as good as it could be. Here you have these cameras. If you look into them, it will tell you that the battery life, for example, has 91%. And this one is on the porch camera. That's the one in the back. It has 91% of the battery still left in it, and it's not plugged into anything. That is just all there. That one is wireless. And this is my router here, Tango 5. It has things you can have flicker adjustment. You can adjust the different things, different megahertz ratios, but everything I leave it in automatic. I don't worry with it to change that too much. This gives you the device info, the firmware you can update, and hardware information and serial numbers. That's the information. So it's very, very intense and can give you a lot of information there. Video settings that can be arranged to delay. Oh, this is the settings here. This is in the back porch. So you look at that video setting. That is just as the camera sits right now. And of course, you can change the brightness and up and down with the brightness is not to know, but the brightness can be changed. You can track and have zoom tracking, auto zoom. You can enable that if you want to, or it will auto zoom on anything that comes up there. Audio settings. There's a button here I can press if I have an emergency and the siren will go off. Makes a lot of strange noise. I don't want to disturb the neighbors. But I can speak to someone at the door. If somebody rings on the doorbell or on the driveway, I can say, hey, get off my porch. You get off my porch. I never told anyone that, but so that's another story. So here we go. This is the garage camera. In fact, just let me back up on this. I can go to the library, for example, and here's the library of since the last month several days that I installed the camera. I took it out and I put it back, just changing around different things. But this will give you last 30 or so days of all the activity that took place on the garage camera up here. These two are get garage. This is a garage camera. And this is my daughter. My granddaughter, that's the one you saw there. She just came there with her mom. And they came up in the driveway so you can see that she's coming out the car. She's going her way. This is me when I went out there. There I am coming in. I just have a limp there because I was chasing some people and I didn't catch them. So, but this is the front door camera on the doorbell. Now you can see how clear it is, and you get full action at the height of anybody. Of course, if they drop any packages there, you can see them. And all these things are recorded in my system. I have it on the iPad, I have it on the iPhone. I think this was this morning or yesterday when I was coming out there with my granddaughter, and she's going to come in out there and have fun. So it's a very clear picture, and it does just equally well at nighttime. I think that was this morning. I was going for a walk, to take her for a walk, or she was taking me for a walk. She got two little puppies there. That little one, she got a gift a few months ago for her birthday. That's a Frenchie, some Frenchie. And she had a old little poodle she had before. So we go for walks from time to time. But it's picking up all this thing with just movement and activity. I think this was this morning or yesterday. I'm at the front door trying to give this little puppy some food there, and it's a she.
Get it out. Get it out. Mm-hmm. Coming back by. Thank you.
Like this stuff. That is just a doorbell camera.
Sissy fell off. Sissy
Doorbell.
fell off. My sister fell off. My sister fell off. Sissy. Are you okay? Are you okay?
And I don't want anyone to pay any attention to that potted plant there. It is not what you guys are thinking it is, okay? It is pretty good stuff. Now I turned off the speakers on that because it just irritates me sometimes. See? Now she's outside there on the doorbell. And she's waiting for me to come out there. Again, this is the driveway camera. Now this is the neighbor coming home. I don't know what time of the day it is. I can check that out. But he comes home and so it sends off you hear the beep on my cell phone. I know somebody's on the front door. So as if someone is on their front camera. And sometimes we'll pick up things in the background in the distance behind there. And the other street that goes down that way. See there, a car just went by there. That's the neighbor backing up, and you can see the other one neighbor going into his house across the street or down the street. So it has very good optics, and that's my car coming in the garage. And that's again the camera over the garage. It's picking me up coming inside the garage. And all this is captured automatically. You can keep as much of it as you want to or as little as you desire. Okay, what I want to do now is to show the options were when I purchased this system here. What's my doorbell?
Tony, are you there? Tony?
Oops, we lost.
Okay, I heard something. I think we might have lost Tony there for a moment. So maybe he'll come back in a moment.
Well,
It
he
looked
was
like
trying
he
to
opened his
access the
browser and
internet,
froze.
and
Yeah, it does. Well, he's
doing
doing
Zoom at the
this on
same
a
time can be a
tablet,
problem.
iPad, most likely, no
iPad,
idea.
yeah. And multitasking on those on iPads is not their forte.
Nope.
Yeah,
Um,
trying to keep two apps open at once, Zoom and web browser. Maybe it'll work.
Has anyone, while he's brought that up, has anyone looked into the Arlo camera system? No. Who here uses some type of video surveillance system at their house?
I got a doorbell.
Okay, I only saw, what is it? Tim, you got Stan? Did I see? Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got a doorbell, that's all.
Okay. And no one else uses a doorbell or anything else at their house? Okay. I mean, if you're living in a single, not a single family, but if you're living in like an apartment setting or a condo, does not apply to you. However, if you own your home, I see merit in having some kind of surveillance system at your house, whether it's a monitored system or an unmonitored system, even if it's just a Ring doorbell, or something similar to it, like Tony decided to go the Arlo route. Um, I see a merit to it, even if it's just some kind of deterrent. If you're in Illinois, I would recommend that you turn off audio recording unless it's at your doorbell or something like that where it's invoked when they push the button. That is, I personally do have a surveillance system that I put in my house years ago, and it runs. I have it hooked up to a DVR, and it runs 24/7, 365. If anything, it is my own deterrent for somebody coming to break in my house if I should not be home or I'm at home, and that they'll always be recorded. And these days, pretty much it's assumed that all homes are being recorded or have a Ring doorbell or something on them. It's not a bad idea to put it in, even if you've never had a problem. It doesn't mean you can't have a problem. So if you travel, good idea to put something in like that. Or if you're elderly and you need some kind of sense of security, unless you want to pay for a system, you could pay for an AT&T monitoring system, but this is an alternative, if you will.
And also for legal compliance, and also to let people know, and this is a bit of a security enhancement you can do, you can post a sign saying that the premises are being recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you legally need to do that. Do you have to put a sign up that you're recording?
In Massachusetts, it's wise to do so, not absolutely required if it's your private property.
My wife just said in Illinois, it is not required to post a sign that says you're about doing any type of recording. However, I will say audio recording, you have to be guarded on in Illinois. That's why we have such strict laws on that. So my DVR system does not do audio. It is not meant to do like a Ring doorbell where I'm conversing with somebody back and forth. It's strictly for surveillance to catch somebody or even an animal, a rogue animal that could be running around my property or something. It could catch those, which I often catch foxes running through and coyotes. I've not seen any bears, thank God. Haven't seen any deer. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. What do I have? I have one, two, three, four. I think I have 4 cameras on my system. It came with 4. So hopefully Tony will come back and fill in the rest. But I put this in years ago. I thought it was a good deterrent just to have. It was very inexpensive to do. It took me just labor to install the cameras in, and mine is not wireless. It's a wired system. And every now and then you do need to check it and make sure it's doing its thing and check the system. But if you should ever have a problem, even if it's just like a bad fire or something like that, you got documentation on anything. So, hopefully that's Tony. Yes, admit. He's coming back in. And Tony, we see your name, but we don't see you yet.
His system's connecting.
It's that Apple thing.
No, everybody takes a minute or two.
There you go, Tony. Are you there, Tony? Can't hear you yet. Connecting to audio. Yes, speak. You're muted. You mute. Can't hear you. Check your mic. You're muted. Your setting.
Okay, is this better now? Thank you.
Now we
I was talking away there and I wasn't hearing any response.
Yes, you switched to your browser or something, and we lost you at that point.
Okay. Where was I?
You were at the point of showing us the purchase options.
Okay.
I think you were going to Arlo's website.
Okay. So I'll go back to Arlo's website. I will go. Seeing that now?
We see only you. You need to share your screen again.
Oh, sorry. Share screen. Come on. Go back here. Come on. Are you all seeing me now?
We see it says you are sharing screen.
Right, are you hearing me?
We hear you fine. We don't see anything else
Great.
yet.
Now I have to go back to here.
Ah,
Web, right, that's where I was before. Are you
right.
seeing that?
Yes.
You all see there? Okay. I don't know how much of that I need to go back over, but I was showing you some of these options. You saw this already, right?
Saw
Yes.
that.
Did you see the cameras?
You went to their website.
Okay, the Arlo website.
And at that point, we lost you.
Okay. Okay. Did you also saw this? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
This was where you were lost. This is the point at which you were.
Okay, I was showing the different accessories that are available and what I have. I have the 2 cameras there on the left and my doorbell. And this on the top right-hand side, that is a solar panel which charges the camera over the garage door. The other camera in the back, the batteries last up to a year. And it tells you that right now I think I have 80-something% on the battery back there. So it's pretty good. I can just take it out and put it back in. But because of the height of this battery, this front camera over the garage, I decided to have added this solar panel, which does all the charging of it. Okay. They have a floodlight camera, and I haven't used this one as yet because I wasn't too sure about this. I didn't put it on, but I have it available, and maybe sometime later on I will add it to my system. The support for the Arlo systems are very interesting because they give you, you can have it in the cloud or you can have it record your camera systems, all the pictures on your phone, on your hub. I have a hub which I use, which is somewhere down here. This is my hub here. I have a base station that I use. And this base station is attached to my cameras, of course, all remotely. And I have a thumb drive under this thing that holds up to about 2 terabytes of footage.
Oh, that's a lot.
And that, yeah, it's a lot, and that's 2K. If I go to 4K, it probably holds about 1.5 terabytes of information. So that's my base station here. And that's next to my router into my office. Our community, there's a lot of support. I mean, everyone gives you the 2 cents worth, and there's good information here that tells you people who use, like users using the product, will give you any answer questions that you may have about any concerns or any other problems you may have, and that's good. Ask our community. Here you have hardware and software tips and tricks. So almost anything that you're concerned about, where are there recordings in the Arlo? Why are there no recordings in the Arlo library? I don't have that problem. But here you have questions about the hardware updates, software updates, tips and tricks, and questions and answers. You can ask questions and answers there. And here you can have conversations They support, talk about the doorbell problems, security camera problems, and they give you pretty good answers. And the services here are available for, and they have all these different posts. So you can read these at your leisure, depending on what you have. Page not found. Why is that? FAQs. They answer all your questions that you have. Anything you can have. You can put a question out there and they will respond to it. It's a very comprehensive and supportive, and what I like about it, the support that's available online to answer your questions. And you can call the company. I think they're located somewhere out there in California, but I don't worry much for them. This latest reply here is dated August 20th, which is just several days ago. Security has never been so easy. Arlo Secure is a new subscription service, and I haven't participated in that, so I don't really worry about it, but that's what they introduced there to you. And here are different people responding to things. Share your videos, you can do that if you want to. If you catch something at school, you can share it, I guess. Post videos on the system. And this is the support for the app there. Arlo support. Question and answers, simple setup. And so you have a very comprehensive support system in this, and I like that. Security up here. How do I subscribe to Arlo Secure? Is Arlo Secure available? Then you have trial periods. I think they give it a month to use whatever you want to do. Cameras, doorbells, security lights. And so this is what I found to be very effective for me at the present time. I'm still playing around with it, and I'm still learning a lot of things about it. So that's where I have any questions here.
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Can local police departments tap into these Arlo cams the way they
No.
can with Ring?
No, and that is another good question, because that was one of my concerns. They are not able to get into your system without your permission. You can let them have permission, and that's what something I was concerned about, because I was told I cannot have my camera pointing to the next door neighbor's house or in their front door. It has to be pointing to public access and not to someone else's door. I can't look at my neighbor's stuff.
Yeah, that's something you are not allowed to do anywhere.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that until that day. I was told about that stuff.
That has to do with legal.
Right.
But I was just wondering about technically, because some of these police can tap. You're saying this one, no, you need to give permission.
Yeah, you have to give permission. Yeah.
And that is a good feature.
Yeah. Any other questions, concerns, or comments?
Well, the question I have is, do these cameras have microphones on them?
Yes, you can speak to someone and say hello. You can answer someone. You can say, young man, get off my porch, and they will hear you. And the microphones allow you to hear what's going on outside. If I can go back here, but you'll see, you listen to the wind that was blowing a couple of days ago. And where was that? And you can hear the wind howling outside here.
You don't have to go back to it. I thought I was hearing people talking, and I didn't know.
Yeah, my daughter was talking a while ago in one of these.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was just the doorbell one that was making the noise, or if the other ones were making it also.
Right, you can hear when the car drives up here. If the car drives up, you blow your horn, you will hear it. You know? If I speak there, I'm walking there, you're not going to hear my footstep. But you can hear through the cameras, and there's a siren there. You can, if you want to do the siren, and I've never done it because I don't think it's a good idea to scare anybody. But the siren has the ability to scare people off if you want to do so.
I would think it would be something you would use in an emergency only.
But yes, an emergency, yes, absolutely. It says emergency for emergency use.
And judging by this picture, they all have a wide angle lens too.
Yes, they do have a wide angle lens. They say up to 160 degrees wide angle, which is not a straight line, but it's pretty wide.
Yeah.
And that's how it looks. This is just the front of my house here on the driveway. This is we live in these double houses, townhouses. I'm on one side, neighbors on the other side. So I just see them going down the street. But this tree here was the one who was howling the other night, and the camera was just going off and click, 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 because the wind was howling and the trees were dancing in the wind, you know. So it could be a nuisance, but you either get used to it or you turn it off, and you don't want to miss anything. So far, I haven't missed anything.
Yeah, all of these cameras could use an upgrade that would allow artificial intelligence to determine that's a tree.
Yeah, if this, then that, yeah. But the one in the back tells me, this man, if I can get back, it will tell me that it will say animal in the back door, which is this one here. It says animal. This one here. See that little squirrel here running there?
Yeah, that's your squirrel.
Right, that one tells me, comes up on the phone saying animal and back porch, as opposed to human. Will tell it differentiate between humans and animals. When the breeze is blowing, the wind stuff blowing, when the guys are cutting the grass and all that stuff, it's a different situation. But that little squirrel, you see him running there, it'll say animal and back porch, so you don't get worried, you know.
So it can tell you some things that you need that you can ignore.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. It does.
I've heard recently that one of the problems with the wide angle cameras, like you've got, do not lend themselves to good facial images in case of criminal activity, and you want to give it to the police.
That's interesting that you would say that, because I was, well, I guess in this day and age, there are people are walking around the place with some masks and no mask. You really probably couldn't tell anything anyway, you know? Because now it's legal to wear a mask. Long ago, you couldn't have gone to a bank with a mask on. You couldn't get in there. But now you can go.
I think I could have.
Well, so with a face like that, anything would happen when you're possible.
I don't need a mask.
Oh.
Well, with the wide angle lens, you can do the reverse. You can use software to tighten it up and reverse it, so there wouldn't be a problem.
I have a program that can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that standalone program?
It's a Linux program, but there's the same thing in Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
So that's not a problem. You just
in my program, it's called Unwarp.
Unwarp. Okay.
Yeah, it takes away the fisheye effect. I believe in Photoshop, it has something about fisheye and removing the effect.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Anyone else?
Do you have to pay for any type of monthly service for them with this?
If you want to have, and that's a good question, if you want to have the monthly service, you can get that monthly service support.
What kind of service would that be that you'd get? I mean, you've purchased the item and it's.
They will store the same footage that you have on your system, your local system, and they will store it, you know, annually if you want to subscribe for a year, you know. And I don't know why I would want to keep all those images for a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, if they're not consequential. So I don't really worry about that aspect of it. Services, Arlo Secure. Here we go.
If you had a business, you would probably want to retain footage.
Yeah, but well, yeah, I hear that. But for how long? 30 days, 30 months?
Anywhere from a month to 3 months for most businesses. Okay. Sometimes up to a year.
Here it is. How do I subscribe to Arlo Secure?
Certainly, if you had an incident, you might want to save it for a while.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here they say you can purchase Arlo Secure plan to either unlock 2K or 4K video recording for 30 days of cloud recording, advanced object detection, cloud activity zones, and much more. You can purchase or change your Arlo subscription and Arlo Secure iOS app. A secure plan, Android. More about secure plans, visit Arlo this here.
So there are advanced features you could also unlock.
Yes, here we go. Number of cameras supported, person, vehicles, animal, package, detect smoke and carbon dioxide. You can have them even monitor those things. Emergency response, no. Interactive actions. And this is what the Secure Plus does, I guess. Some of them have, you can have it to detect this alarm system, just smoke and fire alarms. You can have it to detect person, vehicles, animal, packages, cloud activity. And the city offer here, it shows you here where it can be. Where was that? Certainly says up here. Up to 30 rolling days, Arlo Secure single camera. Unlimited 2K for 30 days. But I forgot the price of those things. The prices are wrong here somewhere. No plan.
So you said that you're recording this locally on a 2 gigabyte or 2 terabyte card?
Yes, sir. Thumb drive.
Okay, you have the pricing right there.
Yeah, the
Good.
prices, yeah.
And how much did this system run you that you put in?
It originally was $500 and some for the 3 cameras, the base station, and the doorbell was separate. The doorbell was $120, and the solar panel was $159. But I got the three cameras and the hub, and that I got it for like $300 and some. I bought it at Costco when it was on sale.
These cameras only come on and are activated by movement, right?
Yeah, it's activated by movement.
Okay, and then once they start and movement stops, how long do they stay on before they shut down?
Well, it shows you a couple of seconds. That's a good question. It shows you here. I think it's, I don't know offhand. It shows you here.
Well, it's probably programmable too, that you could tell it to stay on.
It is programmable, but of course you don't want to run 1 hour. You want to get it goes from 0. What's that says here? 10 seconds. This particular one is 10 seconds here. This movement here, it goes. It's 10 seconds. You hear the wind blowing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 10 seconds. The other ones, that's just the wind in the trees. You can see the trees, leaves in the trees, they're blowing around.
In the description, there was a comment about rolling coverage for the cloud or just 2K coverage. I wasn't quite sure what they're trying to tell you.
They have 2 types of coverage: 2K, which is a lower resolution, and you have 4K, which is higher resolution. But with the higher resolution, it takes up more space, so it's more expensive if you want to store 4K as opposed to 2K. I can do the same thing on my 2 terabyte drive. I can set the cameras to record in 4K. And I haven't tried that as yet because I don't know what difference it will make. But I think it will take up too much room on my 2 terabyte stick, and I don't really want to do that. Maybe later on I'll be messing around and trying without, both of them to see what the difference is. But I'm satisfied with this. I know this is the neighbor going there, and I know that it's not as somebody's coming to hurt me. So that one doesn't matter. Yeah, she's coming out of her driveway with her car and all that stuff. So I think it takes 9, 10, 16 seconds. It gives us 16-second clip, and this is a 2K.
Okay.
Now, the service with rolling 30-day,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean then that footage is retained 30 days and then rolls over?
If you mean on the cloud, if you pay,
Yeah, on the cloud storage.
Well, yes, it goes for 30 days, and then it rolls over because they're keeping it there for you. If you keep yours, you can keep yours as long as you want. So it depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, so when they use the term rolling, they mean it rolls over every 30 days. Of course, if you download it, you can keep it forever.
Right, you can keep it for as long as you want to.
Yeah.
Or if you have it recording locally, then you've got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got it locally. I mean, you can then get it. I don't know. Oh, by the way, my hub, you can't put a 4 terabyte thumb drive with disk in it because it could only manage up to 2 terabytes. So if you put in a 4 terabyte stick, it will break it down and you could only get 2 terabytes of recording.
What time span would that cover? Do you have any idea?
No, I didn't. No, that's a good question. I don't know what. But if you get in 2 seconds, 10 seconds a recording, you have 2 cameras. That's 20 seconds for each recording. So it depends on the day and how much of those what she was doing there. It depends on how much. I haven't been able to calculate. I haven't tried to calculate it. Because right now there was no need for me to do so. I just want to see activity and ability to do things that I wanted to do. And so far it's still a toy for me. I'm playing around with it. And I'm able to be on the road with my cell phone and know someone is up on the driveway,
Do you get a tone notification that there's activity?
Yes, the phone just comes up with a notice on my phone, and it hits, so you know something is going on. So if you don't have the phone in front of you, you'll hear the song that a message has come in.
Okay.
And then
if you're at home, the hub beeps
the hub doesn't make any noise. The hub is just a recording and distribution device.
Okay.
The noise comes straight from the speaker on the doorbell, and it picks up the sound from the cameras, and you get that recorded on the pictures, like here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I can hear that.
Right. That is recorded through the camera onto your system.
How many cameras did you get, Tony?
I got the pack with 3 cameras. So I'm only using 2 now. One over the front door there, and the other one in the back porch. Where you see the other one.
And you haven't figured out where you're going to put the third one yet?
No, I haven't decided. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Because it is, I don't know. You're covering your entrances because I was asking the guys what is this. I didn't put it up myself because I didn't feel I couldn't climb up in those places. But this suggests you monitor your entrances and your exits. The only other place I might use another one is on my deck in the back there. And I don't think that's, again, necessary make any sense, because to get up on that deck, you have to go to the porch downstairs.
Yeah, don't forget you also have windows.
Well, oh, that's a different situation now. I don't have any windows on the lower. Yes, I do. I have my windows upstairs. But you have to approach the house before you get to the window.
Okay.
You can put windows. I wouldn't, if I was doing that, they have some of those you can put inside the house to monitor the doors, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I believe it's redundant in my experience, because once you see somebody coming, know who's coming. If they get inside the house, well, it's kind of late for anything, you know, in my mind.
For the system to contact you,
Mm-hmm.
you have to pay a monthly fee, or your own system contacts you directly on your phone.
Every activity that takes place is recorded or captured. It notifies me on my phone, or on my iPad, or on my computer. But if you pay for the service for them to monitor, I believe you still get the same response, the notification on your phone. You know, because they wouldn't keep it silent and just keep it there for you for when you know. I believe it would do on your phone, but they would store the recordings for you as opposed to you storing them itself. I think that's the only difference.
So their service fee is to just save the recordings. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you do it by yourself and be notified whenever there's motion.
Right. I get notified whenever there's motion. If you're paying for the service, they will get notified and they will store it there for you.
Yeah, so you pay for cloud storage and extra features.
Yes, and extra features. Correct.
I'd like to add just a little footnote. Some insurance companies may give you a discount off your homeowner's insurance if you have a surveillance system. I do believe some of the fine print, at least the ones I've run across, is if it's a monitored system that is like a AT&T or something like that, or an ADT. I'm sorry, not AT&T. System where you actually are going to a service that would monitor it for you. But that doesn't mean your insurance company won't give you a discount. So even if it's a small amount, it still offsets the initial cost of purchasing the system. And there's a lot of peace of mind that you get by having a surveillance system. More or less, it's another insurance policy that you have in your house. Like I said, we have one here, and I put one in because it more or less it's monitoring my house 24/7, 365, whether I'm home or not. And I've notified my insurance company, and I believe they gave me a little bit of a discount by having a surveillance system installed. So
go
ahead, Tony.
When I first moved in here 11, 12 years, 15 years ago, wow, I had the ADT system, and I was of course paying for it, and the insurance company gave me a discount on my homeowner's insurance. It was nominal anyway.
It's nominal, right?
Yeah, but the real selling point is that if you travel a lot, if you're away from the house a lot, if you're at work a lot, you have this peace of mind of knowing if anything happens, you'll be notified.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and I might add, Bob, you hit a point about traveling, but regardless of whether you're traveling or not, you can be at home and have a home invasion.
Yes.
And it's not just for the fact you're not home. It's also when you are home, you want the system in place. You want to know who's at that door, who could be breaking in a window or something like that. And how many times have we seen surveillance cameras on TV or the Ring system where they're seeing somebody get assaulted, if you will?
Yeah, or somebody is in one part of your house when you're in another. But even in apartments, we had in a nearby community in the Boston area a series of break-ins while people were asleep into apartments.
And that's
Somebody is in your bedroom and you don't even know it.
exactly. Yeah, it's dead of night, you're dead asleep. They'll come in quietly, break in and take what they want, and you never even knew it.
Yeah.
Well, it's worse than that. These were also assaults.
Yes,
Yeah.
assaults too. And that's another reason I think having a surveillance system in today's day is really a good thing to do. It's
It's a good
your own
thing.
personal peace of mind. Tony, this was a great presentation you did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's something I was thinking about using the other camera, just giving it to my daughter, put it in her place. But she's always worried about, she's a little paranoid about internet systems, you know? So that's another story because it has to have an interface where you can use the monitoring activity. So putting a camera out there, unless you put it up there as a mock, as a, what do you call it, a decoy or something of the sort. You put it up there, it doesn't do anything. And people will pass and say, I wouldn't go to that house because they have a camera and, you know.
Yeah, that's really not as much of a deterrent as you might think.
Oh, okay.
You have to have the genuine article.
Yeah, you have to have the real thing.
Is there any kind of a low battery warning, Tony?
Yeah, yeah, it has on frame there, it has, let me go back here and show you. Up here it says, come over here, my dear. How do I get back here? It has a Arlo secure. It has a monitoring system there that tells you how much the battery has in it. How do I get back here? Come on.
Well, in other words, an indicator light or something?
No, it has the amount of juice of it. Where was I just now?
It's probably in your app. Your
In the
app
app.
will
In the
notify
app.
it. It'll send you a push notification, some kind, to tell you your battery's running low on the device and you need to change it out.
Yeah, the app.
How easy is it, Tony, to change those batteries?
Is it just a what?
How easy is it to change the battery if you get a warning on it?
Oh, the battery is easy. I mean, the one on top, the one with the solar panel, I'm not going to change the battery in that, but the other one, and just let me get out of here again. Oh man, okay.
It's probably a compartment that's got a screw on it that holds it in, that locks in the compartment. It's probably like an IPv6 or IPv5 water rated.
Let me show you cameras, battery accessories. Battery, change the battery, accessories.
Are they using common lithium batteries or are they using some of the special prototype lithiums?
No, they have their special battery. That battery is not, I don't know what it is, and I don't know exactly what it is. But these batteries, a pair of these, you can buy them for $49, $50 here. And there you have a dual charging station, but it tells you power adapter. This is what is included: quick start guide, dual battery charger, power adapter. This is the cable that is attached to the battery. Outdoor 25-foot outdoor magnetic charging cable. So you can charge the battery from outdoor if you have a plug somewhere close by. But you can take the batteries out and put them in this little case here, and you can bring them in the house and charge them. They charge within 1 or 2 hours completely. And then the charge lasts. I was trying to find the icon here that tells you how it charge.
Hey, Tony, don't get hung
Yeah.
up on this technicality.
Okay.
Dennis, you could go and look it up and find out how to change the batteries on these. It's more of the presentation, how great this system could be for you and would it work for you.
In chat, I posted a reference to the instructions for one
Okay,
of their models.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
Right.
And Tony, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it's a good little system, and I'm still playing with it, and every day I seem to learn something different if I mess around with it long enough.
And
Hmm?
where did you buy your system?
I bought mine at Costco.
Okay,
The three camera system with the hub at Costco, there was $600, and they had it on sale for four something, so I saved $150. You can buy them separately, one camera, two cameras, and they're pretty pricey. I look at Wise, I looked at the Ring. I don't want the Ring because I know some people with the Ring and they get compromised really easily and stuff. So I stayed away from that. And I didn't want anything that is using a Google or using Google as the platform. And they have Arlo has its own distinctive application and the system. So that's what my main concern was. The only other one I thought is very inexpensive, relatively so, is Wise, but the cameras don't have the acuity and the expandability as does this Arlo system. So Wise is a little one that's less pricey, and you don't have to use the Google or Google systems with it to monitor. They have their own software platform. So that's one of my majors. That was my major concern.
okay. All right, thank you, Tony. This has been a great presentation, and I
Thank-
appreciate you stepping forward and offering to do a presentation.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Right. Okay, so I would like to add that we do not have a presenter for next month, and was hoping somebody in this group would be willing to step forward and do a presentation. In November, we have Wayne, and in December is Dennis. Although Dennis, I'd like to know what your presentation will be. Whenever you get a chance, you can send me an email, and I can put it into my document of what you're going to be doing the presentation on in December. Okay, Dennis? Shake your head. Dennis? Yeah. Okay. All right. So Dennis will do that. So that being said, we don't have anybody for next month, and I was hoping that Harry, don't shake your head, Harry, because you're up next. So Harry, what presentation can I put you down for October for next month? I'm sure there's something you do that you'd love to talk about, whether it has to do with investing or something. Maybe it's you go for walks a lot and you're monitoring your walking with a certain app. What can you do, Harry? Can I put you down for October?
No, I'm afraid not.
Are you not going to be around next October?
That's a possibility. Well, yeah,
Okay.
actually, that's very true. I probably won't be around in October.
Don't
How
you won't be
quickly
around
you
that.
decided you're going to travel in October?
Actually, I'm waiting for it to cool off in Arizona so that I can make the trip. My wife's been griping at me for 2 years to go out there.
Okay, well, that won't be until like November or December.
No, that'll be October. That's it, because that's the open in the schedule out there. So I have to go by the agenda.
Well,
Um,
has this group had its walkthrough with Windows 11 yet?
no, I don't think so.
I just bought a PC that has Windows 11 Pro,
Okay,
and I haven't quite got it set up. This is the month I will be setting it up, so it might be
in October.
logical for me to just follow through, do a little report on the new PC, Windows 11,
Okay,
and I'll see if I can get some articles with features that people might like or that people might hate.
okay.
And by the way, I already can say, I'm not hating the new interface.
Okay.
It is different, but I'm not hating it. I can show the differences. And I can
Okay.
show a little bit about how to use it without using third parties or without messing around with the interface and trying to wholesale change it. How you can adapt to it and adapt the interface to you. Using still Microsoft Windows 11, not some third-party shell.
Well, I appreciate you willing to step forward again and helping out this group, Bob. I don't want to burn you out or overutilize you. If you're willing to do this,
This
I'm
is
more than
something
happy
I'm
to.
doing anyway. It's something I'm
Just
doing anyway.
Harry he's got to go to Arizona. He's going to leave us in a lurch and.
Well, Harry doesn't have a Windows 11 computer.
I'm still working 8.1 and I keep getting the warnings that they're gonna cut me off in January, you know.
That's right.
Yes, you will be cut off. So you might be, well, you won't be around to
Well,
attend the meeting, but you might be interested in the recording.
the 8 will keep running just like 7 and XP. It's just
Yeah.
you don't get any more security updates or program fixes, and that could be putting you in higher and higher risk.
And 8.1 will not have an extended security release program the way 10 might. So you won't get the ESU updates that 7 is getting.
Unfortunately, the computer it's on is probably its lifeline is probably going to die at about the same time that Windows 8.1 dies. So
then you will.
I'm going to have to start looking for what I want to do with the replacement.
Then you will definitely want to pay attention to what's happening with Windows 11.
You know
Because the
what,
next one
Harry,
you get will have 11.
that's going to be a great presentation for you to do for us in January.
Right.
Since you'll be back from your trip to Arizona. So I'm going to pencil you in for January on your shopping experience for your next PC. Can you do that, Harry?
No promises, but I'll put it on the calendar.
Okay, so I got you down, Harry Nelson.
Harry. Yeah. At least look into the matter, see what's out there.
Shopping for a new replacement PC.
And then Harry and I can compare notes on what we decided.
Right.
Because we're different users.
And Harry, we don't care if it's a laptop or if it's a desktop. It's just, what did you find when you were searching? What did you gain and what did you lose?
Yeah, spoiler alert, mine's a tower.
Okay.
Hey, Harry, get with Terry and maybe he'll sell you his old laptop.
The laptop's newer than the desktop I have to replace.
Okay, so we got Harry down for January. I like that one, and that will work.
It just makes logical sense. It just makes logical sense. I would present what I'm already taking notes on.
This is gonna be great, Bob. Thank you for stepping up in October for that.
Yeah, it's literally nothing.
Okay, anyone else got any last minute questions or announcements? Again, we are looking for a Region 3 regional director. I know Dennis said he was willing to do this. So he's going to be submitting his name. Harry said he was a possibility for doing this.
Not director.
Oh yeah, I mean you only got to attend 3 meetings a month. Well, it's pretty simple stuff. And we got you down there, Harry. I know you'll be contacting Beata.
No, I won't. I got the reminder from her the other day. That disappeared in my mailbox.
Well, we could make sure it reappears, right? Okay. Anybody else have any last minute questions? Anyone buy anything new that they'd like to discuss to the group? Nope. Okay. I will conclude tonight's meeting and say thank you very much for everybody for attending. And we hope to see you at the Tips and Tricks SIG.
Oh, one other thing about Windows 11. It's about to have its first major update. And that is going to change things a bit for people looking for new PCs.
We'll find out more the next time.
Yeah, I will gather info on that as well.
Okay.
Good job, Tony.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Hasta luego.